Welcome to another episode of Made in Sullivan County, where we visit places that you ask yourself, I wonder what they make in that building. Well, today we're on Highway 126 at Track Tubes. Well, Fred, I'm excited to be here. We're at Track Tubes. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
My name's Fred Sexton, and I'm from this area. I've lived most of my life here. I was in the Marine Corps back in the 80s and early 90s, but save that, I've been in this area, all my life.
Well, thank you for your service.
Well, my honor.
So tell me a little bit about Track Tubes.
Well, let me start by talking about my business here. Okay. I bought this building about 4 years ago, and when I bought the building, it was a church, and I renovated it into my shop here. I'm a woodworker at heart, so I like to joke around and say that I took this shop from souls to sawdust. And so like I said, I'm a woodworker at heart, and when I moved into the shop, I've done some things here locally. If you've been to the Paramount in the last few years, I did the new bar and concessions area. We made it look old and Art Deco, tried to keep the theme of the Paramount. Absolutely. And recreate the majesty of that wonderful place. And as the business evolved, I have the machinery. I started doing a lot of sign work. My sign partner, AM Design, his name's Bert White. He's a phenomenal sign design guy. And we have a lot of clients. If you walk down State Street and look on buildings, you'll see a number of the signs that we've done. We've done signs here, we've done them in Kingsport, we've done them in Knoxville, and as far away as New Mexico. So I enjoy that. The sign work is a creative outlet. So we take the design, I have to figure out how to bring it to life, and the signs we do are really unique and custom, and they're just really works of art. So all this time that this was going on, I had what I considered a side hustle, and the side hustle was Track Tubes. We can talk more about the product in detail, but the overview is Track Tubes was a product that I had that I just sold in the background to try to, make a little more money, keep the lights on. And last year I introduced a few new products, and the growth in that business in Track Tubes was pretty phenomenal. It was almost 4X, and I'm so grateful for everyone who purchased from me and supports my business. So as this has evolved, that side hustle is kind of becoming my primary business now. Still doing the sign work, still do other, commission type jobs, but less and less of that, and trying to grow this product and this brand into, something great.
How did you come up with the name?
Well, the Track Tubes are an aluminum extrusion, and they're designed to fit in the notch of a sawhorse, and they have tracks on all four sides, T-tracks. That's pretty common in the woodworking, arena. The T-tracks provide a lot of utility to hold things down or attach things or accessories and things like that. So the extrusion is a tube, and it has tracks in it, so there's Track Tubes.
So you're a craftsman, going back to the woodworking that you do, and you talked about this being a side hustle. How did it become a side hustle? Did you invent this because of your woodworking to make it easier for you? Tell me a little bit about that.
I worked with a really good friend of mine. His name's Glenn Revheim. Glenn lives in Utah, and he was the original designer of the first generation of Track Tube. He designed this out of a need that he needed, not so much to sell it. We became friends because luckily have a pretty large following on YouTube, and he found me or discovered me on YouTube. We became friends. Unfortunately, Glenn had some really difficult health problems. He's okay, but he had some health problems for a number of years, and Track Tubes just went away. So when I bought this shop, I had stayed in touch with Glenn. Like I said, we're pretty good friends, and I would check on him from time to time. And I said, Glenn, I got a shop now. Let's resurrect Track Tubes and do something even more with it. So, I took that over from Glenn, and since then there have been a lot of evolutions in the product, the design of the product, and all the accessories and stuff. And Glenn is someone that he's a mentor to me. We talk daily usually, and he coaches me and mentors me. And I'm very, very fortunate that I met someone like that to help me turn this idea into even more than it started out as.
So you've referenced that you have a YouTube channel show. So tell me a little bit about that. Are you using it to market track tubes? Are you using it to show people what you can make? Tell me a little bit more about that.
I started doing YouTube before YouTube was cool. We would have.
It is pretty cool now, right?
Yeah. Before you made money doing it. Probably back to 2011, YouTube was just kind of coming into its thing. And I like to say that I was part of this inaugural group of YouTube woodworkers. And the way that I started, I was building a house. I was building my house, and I wanted to kind of document the things that I was doing along the way. So I made videos of it, and I put it on YouTube. I never thought anybody would watch it. Maybe my kids one day would watch it. And, over time, I started developing an audience doing that, and really enjoyed it. So, if we went from the 2011 time period up to the 2020 time period when I moved here into this shop, it was, just more projects, making doodads, doing different things, DIY stuff. I had the persona for years on YouTube as Redneck DIY. So that was the persona that I had. If you look at some of those early videos, I was landing on thick, But since the evolution of track tubes, that is my primary avenue to market this and to let people discover it. And like I said, last year, there was a lot of discovery made through that channel. The channel is called Got It Made. The reason the channel is called Got It Made, obviously I make things, so I got it made. But in the bigger context of things, I look at my life and how fortunate I am, for my family and for my friends and for Bristol and for all the people in Bristol who have helped me and just the life that I live as an entrepreneur. So I've got it made in a lot of ways.
Let's talk more about your product after the break.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
So now we have this in place, and if we take our track saw, we can make our cuts, and we're not cutting through our pretty table. We're cutting through this sacrificial piece that can be replaced.
All right, Fred, tell me what we're looking at.
Okay, this is a track tube, okay? And this is an aluminum extrusion, high quality, clear anodized. And as you can see, it's got tracks on all four sides. And I call this the quad track. Okay. One of the neat designs with this profile is there's a section here that looks a little different than the other sections. And that's so you can put a self-adhesive ruler in there. So a lot of woodworkers find that they can use this for fences on their miter station, or they can set it up here as a fence to have a reference of what they're cutting and how much they're cutting. So the track tubes were originally designed to work in the notch of a sawhorse.
Okay.
They're dimensionally perfect to drop into a sawhorse. And during this evolution of track tubes, it's become something that people use much more than just with sawhorses. So I can show you some of that later. But that was the original, idea of the track tube and how it worked. My target customer is someone who, the woodworker, the enthusiast, or the prosumer. Most woodworkers, hobbyists, they don't have a big space. So this is something that can be set up pretty quickly. And then when mama comes home from work and needs to pull her car in the garage, you can take it down quickly. So that was the target market. Now the target market has evolved into people who are contractors who work out in the field.
Oh, sure.
And need to be able to set up their workstation.
Mobile.
Yeah. So what the track tubes do is they provide a foundation where you can affix a worktop. This worktop here is called the track top MFT. MFT is terminology that any woodworker that's watching this will know. It stands for multi-function table. It's not a brand new concept, but the top that I make adds some innovation to it that's different than a typical MFT. So this is the track top, and the way that all this goes together is I have a product here, I call it a track dog, and you can see that 1/4-20 hex bolts work in my track.
Okay.
And the dog goes in, and then it'll drop, as you can see right here.
Okay.
The top will drop over it. And one of the features of my track top is this isn't just shameless marketing, it's also functional. You can use this tool to tighten up your track dogs.
Okay.
So that's that.
Innovative.
Yeah. A lot of people that use this kind of table, they're using something called a track saw.
Okay.
And I'll show you in just a moment. A track saw is a saw that runs on a guide rail to keep everything straight. So one of my products is what I call a 1/4-turn rail dog, and it drops in this hole, and it's got a stud on the bottom of it. You give it a 1/4 turn, and it locks into this top track.
Okay.
The reason that this hole is offset, all of these holes are the same dimension, 96 millimeters. These are offset. The reason it's offset is so when you set up your rail, your guide rail, with this accessory here that I have called a rail dog clip, rail dog clips, boom, now we're locked in. And the beauty of this is part of this track top, this piece here is sacrificial. It's going to get destroyed, and it's supposed to. It can be replaced by the user. So now we have this in place, and if we take our track saw, we can make our cuts, and we're not cutting through our pretty table. We're cutting through this sacrificial piece that can be replaced. So that is one of the most common ways that people would use this setup. Now, the way that I have this one set up, the top is also designed so that you can attach another section of tube. You can see it right here.
Oh, sure.
Along the side here. And what that does is it gives you access to that outside track for different kinds of accessories. One of the common accessories that people that use this kind of setup use is called a guide rail hinge. I don't have one set up on here, but it's a hinge that would mount right here. So when you make a cut, you don't have to do what I just did. You just lift it up and it moves out of the way and lifts back down. So that's kind of an overview. And then along with this, I've got this one set up with some of my accessories that I make. An end cap right here. So got the end caps, got the clips, a number of different things that all work together with this system.
Well, I can tell you, we would have loved to have had something like this a couple of weeks ago. My youngest son is remodeling his home, and so he had the sawhorses and then laid a piece of wood over it as we were doing lots of different things. Yes, exactly right. Yeah. So this would have been fantastic for him. So
for the low price
of
go to the website.
So let's talk about where are these products made? Where do they come from?
The majority of my products are made not only locally, but here in Bristol. These extrusions are made about 7 minutes from here at Tri-City Extrusions.
Fantastic.
And we've had a good partnership with them. And that's where the extrusions are made. A number of these accessories, we'll go back in the other room and I'll show you how those are made. I make those here.
3D printing, is that right?
3D printing.
Looking forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah. And then the tops are made here on this big giant robot that I have over there. I'm going to show you in a minute.
Let's say we want to take some time and walk over there.
Sure, let's go.
Wonderful. We'll be back right after this.
Actually, I've already named her Olivia.
Oh.
Because she's kind of classy,
Oh, okay.
And if you have a machine like this, you got to name her.
Welcome back to another episode of Made in Sullivan County. We're at Track Tubes. Fred, can you tell me a little bit about this beautiful piece of equipment here?
This is a beauty. This is where a lot of magic happens in the shop, whether it be the stuff that I do for track tubes or the signs that I make for businesses here in town. This is a wonderful machine. It's called a CNC router. I like to call it my little automated robot. The way that this functions on a high level, I send a program to this machine and it does the operations. It has the ability to come back here and grab different tools that are used for different operations, and it's all automated. It also has a vacuum table, so when I lay a sheet of material on here, it's pulling vacuum down so it holds it in place. This machine, when the machine's running, it's making money, and this is a big industrial CNC machine. I started out years ago in those early days of YouTube using what I would call more of a hobby or a prosumer type machine, and as the business grew on track tubes particularly and the signs, I needed a more industrial machine. Now, one thing that's really important with a machine like this, and I'm going to give you some props, BTES delivers me clean, consistent, and just perfect power, because a machine like this is dependent upon no hiccups in the power and stuff like that. So when I bought the machine, I brought in more power to the shop, and haven't had any problem with anything like that.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah. So as far as track tubes goes, I bring in sheets of material. They're 4x8 sheets, and I put it up on the machine, and I hit the go button, and it carves out 3 of those tops in about 25 minutes.
Wow, 3.
Yeah.
These are the indentions from
that's
the patterns?
where things have cut through. A lot of people think when you have a machine like this, I can just imagine it, and it happens. The reality is the machine does these operations pretty quick, but that doesn't account for the hours behind the computer to program what has to happen with the machine. So with the track top, the MFTs, you do it one time, and I run them over and over again. If I have a sign job, you can expect that I'm going to spend quite a long time behind the computer doing the design and making it ready to run on the machine.
If we brought you a new sign, typically, and it's hard to say, but envision one of your medium-sized signs, how long would it take you to program that?
I'm trying to think of one commensurate that you've probably seen, like the sign at 620 State.
Yes.
That sign, I probably spent 3 or 4 hours behind the computer, and the machine did it in maybe an hour. So
you're setting up the pattern, telling it what to do, and then it's
what tool to use. Yeah.
I'm going to call her Rosie.
Well,
the Jetsons.
Actually, I've already named her Olivia.
Oh. Okay.
Because she's kind of classy,
Oh, okay.
And if you have a machine like this, you got to name her.
I agree 100%. I was just thinking the Jetsons,
Well, there you go. Okay.
This is fantastic, and it really is a beautiful machine.
Yeah.
It's a nice addition to what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we talked a little bit about your 3D room. Can we go in there and show the viewers?
Sure.
Fantastic. I'll follow you.
Okay. I don't know if I'll revolutionize woodworking, but I think that I'm going to help people think differently about their workflow.
All right, Fred, so now we're in the 3D digital room.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, I hear this noise, what's going on?
Well, they make a little bit of noise, and a number of my accessories that are, they're more cosmetic than structural, they're 3D printed. So I've got 4 of these printers. I usually have them going all the time. Right now we're printing the end caps that you saw out there.
Oh, yes.
And this is that rail dog clip that you saw. You didn't see this yet, but I'll show it to you in a minute. This is what I call the quad corner, and this is used when you build out the quad tracks into a frame. So that's what that is. So these things are running. They just run in the background. 3D printing is not terribly fast. It takes some time. So obviously, the more you can scale up the printers, the quicker you can turn around and have accessories. So this room is not only for the 3D printing, also you can see my inventory here. I've got quite a lot of inventory, and this is where a lot of the packages that involve that inventory, the small boxes, are packed up, and while this is going on.
So you've got your laptop here, and you're similar to what we talked about, Olivia, right?
Yeah.
Was you have to tell it what to do. So you're programming it, and then how long does it take? So, for example, whoops, hello.
Drop
so how
them.
long? Yes, I did. How long does it take to make this here?
So a sheet of those, I don't remember how many's on that sheet, 12 or 15.
Okay, a sheet at a time.
Yeah, that will run in about 3.5 to 4 hours. And then the end caps, there's a sheet. I can't remember how many's on a sheet, probably 16. That'll run about the same amount of time, about 4 hours. Now these things there's a lot to it.
I'd say they're very detailed and layers.
Yeah. So a sheet of these, which is about 12 pieces, I think it runs about 9 hours.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So question, the colors. What made you choose green and orange?
Well, woodworkers like to make fashion statements.
Sure.
I don't know why, but we do. And I like to stay with something just kind of basic, but woodworkers like their colors. So I have a variety of different colors. The green is a color that's kind of consistent with, remember the track saw that I showed you out there? That's a very high-end brand of saw, and a lot of woodworkers use that product. So I make a green thing, little green doodad for those people.
That makes sense. It matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Fashion statement.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, this is very interesting.
Well, you're right. I mean, this also runs from a program, but every product that I have an engineered drawing of it. So I have an engineer down in Chattanooga that draws these products the exact way they need to be. And through his drawing and the model that he creates, I'm able to feed it into the computer and then on into the 3D printer.
That is fascinating. We've got young adults learning about 3D printing already.
I'm not an expert at it. These things, I'm an expert on Olivia, but I'm not an expert on this. So luckily I have the drawings that I can just tell it to go do it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And it's a great way to prototype products. Right now I'm working on a product. I can't really talk about it because it's going through a patent process right now.
That's exciting.
And I don't want to use words that are too strong. Everybody says it's going to revolutionize. I don't know if I'll revolutionize woodworking, but I think that I'm going to help people think differently about their workflow and how they approach their workflow. But the point I'm trying to make is I've been able to print the prototypes here. The end product's not going to be plastic printed, but I can print the prototypes here and I can go out in the shop and test it out in the laboratory.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to come back and hear all about it.
I can't wait.
Fantastic.
Okay, April, we've looked at a lot of stuff, and I know we'll come back maybe in a minute to some things about track tubes, but I want to take you up to another room and just overwhelm you with things to look at. That's what I have in here. It's just things that, my redneck eclectic kind of collection here. Okay, so I'm to show you, I know when you came in, you walked through the lobby, we were busy and you breezed through, but I wanted to show you that I call this the I Love Me room.
Okay.
And what this is kind of an eclectic amalgamation of things that I've either made or accumulated over the years and didn't really have a place to put it. A lot of these things are projects in those early YouTube days when I was doing projects on YouTube. So that's what I have in here. It's just things that, my redneck eclectic kind of collection here.
It's very interesting. So tell me about the Welcome to Fabulous Bristol.
So in the casino, when they were you remember when they were having the referendum?
Yes.
Okay. I had the opportunity to meet some of the early decision makers involved with the casino. So I just made a few little casino type things. The casino didn't even exist then. In fact, the community had not even given permission to have a casino. So I was trying to get in favor, I guess. And, I made a few signs. In fact, right now that the whole resort is open, in there, that section that is the kind of the state, I think they call it state line or something.
Yes, yes.
I've got a sign like that. It says "Welcome to Fabulous Bristol, Virginia." It's hanging in there. And I've done a few things for the casino over the years. Not a whole lot, but some things. In fact, I made. They wanted something to serve soup, beans, and cornbread on.
Oh, wow.
I made these little serving trays. I don't know if they're still using them or not. They wanted napkin holders
Oh, that's neat.
or paper towel holders. So I made them some paper towel holders. And they wanted something to serve deviled eggs in.
Interesting.
So,
Oh, how fun.
yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question. You and I might may answer. So I was trying to bring in some elements. Obviously, that's like a, little sound bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recognize that shape?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Yeah. Most people don't.
It goes in a
45.
yes record.
Records.
Yeah.
So we made them like that. This thing was dusty. And then those tabs bend down and it would support the deviled egg.
That is so cool.
They cut in half. Different than we make them
Yeah.
here in East Tennessee.
Yes, we cut them long ways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Very cool. There's another really unique piece right here. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah. This is called a cigar box guitar. And
And you made it?
yeah,
The entire.
I made that about 4 years ago. And it's out of tune, but I was just having fun with that. It's pretty neat. Made this on air sign. You can watch that on YouTube. So come here. We're standing here right now. You know who that is?
Billy the Kid.
William H. Bonney. Billy the Kid. This is a life-size production of Billy the Kid. I like New Mexico. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's a wonderful place. They call it the land of enchantment. And I go to New Mexico a couple times a year. You see my Rispa.
I saw
hanging
that.
behind me. I don't know
Yes.
if you ever had a hatch green chili.
I have not.
Hey, you're missing out.
So I've been told.
So this is what happens to the chilies when they stay on the vine. They turn red.
Okay.
But I like New Mexico. I like to go out there. It's kind of my place that I go to, get away, like I said, a couple times a year. In fact, 2 summers ago, I did a sign. This is a replica of the sign. The reason it's a replica is because I misspelled a word in it.
Uh-oh.
Not going to tell you which one. But luckily I caught it before I drove all the way, or didn't drive, but went all the way out to New Mexico to put that sign up about 50 feet away from Billy's
Very cool.
grave.
And they captured it in their newspaper.
Roswell Daily Record, yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
So lots of fun things in here, but it also showcases one of your primary businesses, which the sign making.
Sign business, yeah. And I do that work here locally under the business, the part of the business called Bristol Artisan Co. And, that's a big part of the business. But like I said, the other thing has kind of eclipsed it already. I still want to do the signs because I love being able to express myself. Like I said, I work with a great designer, Bert, and it's a way to express, that art. But the track tubes has kind of gone beyond that now. So April, there's one more thing I want to talk about that has to do with track tubes. Now that we've got our picture with Billy the Kid.
Fantastic.
Let's go back into the shop.
Let's go. So tell me a little bit about this.
Okay, so earlier we talked about how the original idea behind track tubes was work in a sawhorse, in the notch of a sawhorse. But now with this new product, like I said, I introduced some new things, this quad track. You can build this into a frame, and the frame can provide the foundation for a table or another workstation as big as you want it within the constraints of what I'm able to sell people. And some of my accessories like these brackets, so you can affix these inside brackets, build this into a frame. And I showed you earlier in the 3D print room these
I
corners.
noticed those.
And what that does is gives it a nice polish, fit, and finish, but it also allows you to have access to all these tracks.
Sure.
And this is set up in a sawhorse, but this is a different style sawhorse.
Sure.
You see how the notches are running in a different direction?
Yes.
So I've adapted that to work with this kind of sawhorse. So this is more for a more permanent setup. You know, maybe you don't want to build table legs. You can use these sawhorses that way. But I have a lot of customers who are building out these frames, building their own legs, and it's just more permanent. Like I said, I've had to become obsessed with different kinds of sawhorses over the years.
Oh, sure.
And this is a different style of sawhorse, and it's a little bit wider, so it makes it difficult to affix a top like this. So here's an example of how I built this out into a frame, and I have a piece here. I don't have the brackets on it right now, but there's a piece where I can slide the bracket in there and secure it onto this style of sawhorse.
So we talked a little bit earlier about Tri-City Extrusion, and I know that you have other products that you purchase locally. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, most of the products are either made here at the extrusion plant or I make them here. I've tried to keep everything, you know, intentionally, you know, locally, and not just locally in the region. I mean, locally here in Bristol. You know, Bristol's a great town, and I want to try to keep things here. Some things I can't have made here, but the majority of things are here. Even my boxes are made not far down the road in Morristown.
Really?
So I've got a great relationship with, you know, the packaging company, and they provide the boxes and the foam and the inserts like that. So, you know, that's the majority of things. Some things are made elsewhere, but that's a very small part of what I offer. The majority of this stuff is here, supporting our local economy, and you know, I feel good about doing that.
So buy local, keeping it local.
Trying to.
That's fantastic. Well, I have learned so much today. I really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this. Any closing thoughts? Anything you would like to tell our viewers?
Well, I would say to anybody that's watching, you know, when you come to the shop to visit, and I hope you do.
Yes.
I want people to come in here, whether I know you or not. Come to the shop. Yeah, I hope you do. And when you come here, I hope I can blow your mind a little bit, and you know, get your thoughts and creativity going too.
Fantastic. Well, certainly I'm looking for an early birthday present for my son. Where would I go find this? You talked about the website? Yeah,
the website is tracktubes.com. That's where you can find this. And if you're local, you can come here and buy it from me locally and save the shipping. But yeah, tracktubes.com. And if anybody here in town is interested in signs or anything like that, I do that part of the business under Bristol Artisan Company, Bristol Artisan Co. And like I said, you can go down State Street and look at the work we've done. It's pretty nice stuff.
Fantastic. And one more shout out for your YouTube channel. I want to learn how to make that on-air sign.
All you got to do is go to the channel. It's called Got It Made.
Got It Made. Fantastic.